Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears! Last time, I have no idea what we're doing because it's been like 10 days since I've been able to record. So, let's just continue going through the Ethos headquarters here, and eventually the elevator will start moving and we'll know what exactly we're doing. Don't worry, I'm not completely unprepared for the episode. I did go through the next couple of sequences yesterday, so I should have at least some idea of what's going on. Like I said, it's been a few days. Now, there are two doors here. This one is locked. And every time I've done this in test running, every time I've touched either of these two doors, I've ran into a battle, so... Anyway, that one's locked. This one apparently has no battle today. Okay. That makes recording more fun. Cool. This room is right under the cathedral. Yeah, if you remember correctly from last time, which you probably do because the time between this video and the previous one being released won't be, 10 days or anything like that. But, yeah, we're here because someone's been attacking the Ethos. In fact, we came here to drop off Billy. That was actually the plan before we, started coming here. And of course, Bart is kind of got a little bit of a problem with, lines of transparency going through his entire body. Oh well. This is kind of a surprise. This is the church, Why do they have all this this huge data bank and all of these really high technology looking things? Now, apparently they've stored everything here. Oh, okay. Yeah, no doubt. This looks almost like a ship of some kind. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Who could possibly set up something like that? And of course there's yeah. Is that so? They've been assaulted by someone. We find a Solarian facility. What's the connection here? Any idea what's going on, Billy? You know more about this place than we do. Or maybe not. Yeah, I guess you're not really part of the Bishop class, are you? A good idea from Rico. I like how they bring in the other characters for this, so that's one of the things that's kind of irritating about some games where you take certain party members into a certain area and only their dialogue gets known, and the only way you could view the other dialogue is either to save right before, bring different characters through to see all the different dialogue points. But at the same time, that's all that extra effort, and I just like when they throw all the characters at it and you get to see everyone's perspective. I can understand that it gives replay value, reason to take different characters in, but usually by the time I get to a different point, I get to the point where I'm playing that game over again, I forgot who I took last time, so oh well. Just something I thought of. So, I guess Satan should know how to use some of this stuff. You're going to transmit the information to the main displays. So, in other words... Okay, start reading the bottom one. Yeah, that one disappears fast. Now, we got something from Norturn. We're talking about Xenogears here. And report by Bishop Shikan. Now, I can't remember if they've even mentioned this in the game. They may have gone over it kind of briefly. But yeah, they're looking into some stuff with the Norturn battling, with Gears and Ave. They're kind of looking into a whole bunch of different things, aren't they? Now, I don't remember if they've ever said that he's excommunicated. They may have mentioned it kind of in passing earlier during Bart's arc. But yeah, he used to be a bishop, but if he was excommunicated 17 years ago, why is there still relevant data about stuff that he's been sending in regular reports even recently? What did you find there, Ellie? Okay. Why would they be going to Solaris? What's going on here? Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They're supposed to be this, you know, big, helpful church protecting everybody, right? And I guess fixing up gears in Ave, but... it's been encoded. Okay. So, are you gonna be able to decode and translate for us? Yet, apparently your English is just fine. Or, I guess, in the original version, your Japanese is just fine. Who knows? Great War, collapse, re-education, post-war rehab plan. Well, we know some very small amounts about these gates. More things about lands, Ignis, Aquivi, Unified District. What are you talking about? Ethos established as an organization? Remember, this is written in the Solarian language. Supervised by elders, supervised by the Gazelle. Now, they've mentioned the Gazelle, I think, briefly before. It can refer to, I guess, two different things. Either really high-class, pure-blood Solarians, or a specific council called the Gazelle Council. They're basically the leaders of Solaris. To an extent. That situation is even more confusing, but we'll get into that in due time. Yeah, Rico is actually the smart one. Like, I like this. You know, usually they take the big, strong, slow guy, and he's slow-minded as well. But he's already read through all of this stuff and figured out what's going on here. Not that it's super, you know, unapparent, but it's not the most apparent thing in the world either. So having him put the pieces together and explain it to everyone else is a good choice for his character development. So yeah, that's the, you know, the big reveal here. One of many, I'm sure. Yeah, Solaris actually founded the Ethos, and they're using it as a front to do whatever they're doing with it. We actually don't know yet. We'll find out a little more shortly, though. We've heard little bits about this war, but not much. We will hear much more later. It's not clear what the outcome was, but Solaris had enough power after to build a barrier to separate Solaris from the rest of the world, and they were made to dwell, the land dwellers, in separate races and were supervised. So I have a strange feeling that Solaris at least had enough resources at the end of this war, regardless of whether they won or lost, to do all this. So they didn't end the war too badly for Solaris. Must have been not so great for the land dwellers, though, considering they're now being controlled. Or at least supervised. The Ethos is controlled by the Gazelle Ministry, or Solaris' highest governmental body. So yeah, it's from a basic perspective, that's what they're going to give us at this point. They will elaborate more in the future, and I'll go into some more details at that point. So yeah. Human resources, so it's a slave trade. Seriously? A slave trade? God, this game is dark and uncensored. It's crazy. So yeah, the Ethos is basically a window between the planet or the land dwellers on the surface and the Solaris country in the skies above. Okay. Anything else? Mainly about population distribution and excavation records. a lot of detailed information about races, biological data. Are we going to talk about that? No, we're going to go over and talk to Satan instead. Okay. Oh. Oh. You kind of get that? Everyone coming here for help, or at least the vast majority of them. Billy thought they became E-tones. We haven't seen very many of those. What happened to the ones that didn't become E-tones? Well, yeah, they all got sent to Solaris as slaves. Dark game, really dark. The one thing I do notice in this scene that I actually really like is Bart had never really warmed up to Ellie all that much, but even with that last line, he's starting to a little more. In fact, he was always kind of in opposition with Billy as well, and he kind of starts to, you know, prod him along to help him realize the truth in this situation. Even though Bart's only figuring it out for the first time as well, he's trying to help him understand and accept it, and I like that. I like Bart's character growth through, you know, this part of Billy's arc. So she knows about some of them being sent as labor. Yeah, pretty much. How could it be? Well, we just kind of found out that it is. There's documented proof right here. Yeah, who has been killing all these ethos people? Oh, Satan, what have you found? The 44th Salvage Plan. Somehow they interpret this as what the Captain of the Thames was talking about earlier. If you remember, however many episodes back when we first landed on the Thames, he was saying that the ethos had made a job for them about this salvage operation that they were supposed to do, and they haven't found lots of stuff since then. Mainly because they're looking for something else that's not the normal stuff that they were looking for. They haven't mentioned that particularly, but it's implied, and I'll just flat out tell you right now. This is the only plan that is not linked to Solaris. This one was homegrown. And what exactly was this project? It was commenced about 19 years ago. Now, Zeboim is an ancient civilization from like 4,000 years ago. Yeah, there you go. 4,000 years ago. And if you remember that music box at the very beginning of the game, when Faye went to see Doc Satan and we saw the land spider for the first time, he went into the building and there was this song that played. And I think it was the opening theme or the world map theme in like a music box style theme. And yeah, that was also from the Zeboim society, place, city, whatever. And in addition to that, a lot of the stuff that people have been digging up, these old gears that are technology beyond what they actually had prior to finding them all, you know, those were also from Zeboim. At least to my understanding of the plot, you know. I could be wrong on so many things on this. It's just my best interpretation based on the data that's available to me and the stuff that I've looked up and all that. So if I start, you know, spouting bullshit and you know better, you know, let me know in comments and I'll try and post some corrections in there, whether they be text or, you know, me talking about it in a future episode or whatever. So yeah, under Aquavie lies this ultra ancient civilization doing a huge number of test digs, obtained a vast quantity of resources from these ruins. Yeah, they're finding weapons. Their intention is they're getting all these weapons and attempting to break away from Solaris, once freed from its master, it's likely to attempt world domination. Why? How do you figure that? Of course, why not? Like, that's just hilarious. I don't know how he goes straight to world domination, but that's his interpretation, so. Oh, it's kind of funny. Pretty much. So yeah, they're trying to get all these things to revolt from Solaris, and they're going to use these ultra advanced civilizations, resources, and weapons in order to do so. Of course, they've been common. Every time there's an empire, there's always a rebellion. That's video game logic 101. So yeah, it's very likely that Solaris has sent people here to stop them from breaking away, because they like to have this window, specifically because it gives them all of these resources, you know, like people, food, whatever else they send up, right? Do remember that the Solaris doesn't have, I think Satan and Sigurd were mentioning it before, they don't have a high birth rate. And because they don't have a high birth rate, they need to import all of these additional people from the surface in order to maintain their country. See, Bart's trying to help him along, but you gotta imagine, you know, Billy's entire life is just unraveling in front of him. It's gonna be hard to deal with, you know, such references and what's the outcomes that could happen from this new information. Anyway, so Satan, you know, hedges his bets. You know, it's all speculation based on circumstantial evidence, which, especially with the world domination thing, is definitely true. It would be best to confirm with your own eyes. All right. Now, I'm not sure if this line of dialogue changes if you didn't bring Satan and Ellie with you into this area, but I'm pretty sure someone will just say to whoever's not in your party will accompany the person from Shivat that we rescued in the room close to where we found Big Joe last time, back to the Yggdrasil, and make sure that that person is protected. And now we have access to the party again. Make sure we're, well, you don't really need to make sure we're healed up, but don't come in here with like really low HP, which I did last time, and one of my characters got one shot. It's not a boss fight, but what did you believe in? You belong with us? Oh, Verlaine. We've seen him before, briefly. He was, I think, the one up front who was saying something about Billy's dad when we came here with Faye the first time. Well, he's not really defiled. He's actually more enlightened. He's having all this extra information revealed to him, and so he has a more, you know, logical, factual-based interpretation of life, right? And of course, that is in opposition to faith, right? Now, keep going with this for a little bit. There's some really interesting ideas here. Live only for faith. I shall cleanse you. One with me in death. Oh, it's Josiah. Or Jesse. How could you do that? He was the one shooting everyone. Oh. Well, we saw before that, you know, we found his gun casing or his bullet casing or whatever it was, and we saw blood on some of the other ones, or at least that's implied that we did. But if you're shooting stun bullets, yeah, the murderers, we got like kind of like, oh, maybe it's Solaris, and then here's Jesse, maybe it's Jesse. No, it's still, you know, it's still Solaris. take a look. What do we got here? That symbol. Agents of Solaris. I guess he's got a tattoo or something like that on the back of his neck, maybe. Who knows? Probably an assassination under Stone's command. Yes. There's some more information for you. So yeah, he wasn't here early on. They actually set those gun or bullet casings in the front of the Ethos facility as a form of subterfuge or planting evidence or whatever. It's on some sort of salvage mission. Aha, there we go. How can you talk about blasphemy after what you just saw? Servants of the Bishop. In order to make them repent. Yeah, sinners in the church. They're here to kill members of the church. And they're in the church. What the hell? Okay. That's not all. Seem like works of mercy. But the little boys and girls kept here were actually used as a means to satisfy the desires of the pontiff and bishops. Yes, they went there. I don't know how this got through the censors. Thinking back to Super Nintendo titles in the Final Fantasy series, a series made by the same company that makes this game, they couldn't put pub on the sign and translated ale and beer and pint to pop and soda. And they can make this reference. This game is so beyond just... It's incredible that they're allowed to do this. And they put this in here, and it survived a translation, and the reference is there. You know, the reference is that, you know, there's rape, you know, child rape going on here. This is incredibly dark stuff. But the fact that, you know, this kind of relates to things that have been said about the Catholic Church before and problems that they've had with some of their priests in the past, this, you know, it relates to real life. And it's just, it's so dark and impressive that they were able to get such a complicated issue through the censors and actually keep it in the game. That is very impressive to me. I literally dropped a jaw when I read that for the first time. In fact, the second time I played through the game, which was my test run for this LP, was it was so long since I had actually played the game that I'd forgotten about this line, and my jaw dropped again. It's definitely not conduct permitted by priests. This is really, really gross and dark. So, yeah, the church is corrupt, so you gotta kill everybody? Put them all in jail, yeah. Killing everybody? I don't know about that. No, right? Isn't that what Verlaine said earlier, that is his job? Judgment belongs to God. That is what we're taught, isn't it? God. Where does such a being exist? See, this is why I love this game. From point to point to point to point. I don't know how this stuff gets past the censors. I don't know, you know, these are such great philosophical issues. You know, we have a church in this world that doesn't believe in God, that believes in science. As, you know, this goes back to what we talked to Old Man Bal about in the caves with Bart and Faye there, when we found the old man, right? He was talking about this in the past as well. But the church that supports this belief in God does not actually believe in this God. This is such a cool revelation. Like, I can't give like justice to this with words, mainly because I can't think of any good ones. But yeah, this is really, really cool. The fact that they can just twist, you know, ideas from real life completely on their head so that it's completely opposite of what you would expect is just so awesome. It's such a well done story. I know I'm gushing, but I'm trying to, you know, give justice to this game that, you know, came out, what, in '97? You know, this is nuts. So yeah, basically the ethos existed, and they'll explain this kind of in due time here, prior to the idea that they were a church and that they posted this belief in God. They were an organization that helped manipulate and control the masses, so they wouldn't repeat pointless wars. But they used the ideas of their great technology, borrowed from Solaris, and the idea of a god to help control these masses, and they used these ideas to, you know, manipulate, monitor, control, oversee, whatever you want to call it. Basically, yeah, they ruled the entire Earth from the shadows. Yeah, it was basically a cushion to soften the blow that, you know, they were all being controlled and that there were things outside people's control that they had kind of no say over. It's a well thought out system. Choice of managers was extremely poor. Yeah. That is pretty much, you know, the extent of it. They put this idea out there for hundreds of years, and now, yeah, there's no proof of this, there's no reference to this, no one believes in this except for the people we told to believe in this. God, they are such great villains, perfect manipulators. You've been passing judgment. You've just been killing those, oh, what was it? The Wells, right? Whose ultimate pleasure? Who shot him? Jesse's right there. He didn't do it. But this video's run on way too long. So that's all the time I have for this episode of Let's Play Xenogears. Next time we'll find out who shot somebody, and yeah, have some more of this awesome dialogue sequence. I love it so much. That's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.